Have you ever felt that punch in your shoulder and thought, this is the boss and I'm just hanging on for the ride? We've all been there. That moment when the muzzle flip dictates your split times, when the brute force of recoil tells you when your training day is over. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. It's an outdated contract we've been forced to sign, and today we're tearing it up. Imagine standing on the line, sending rounds down range, and the muzzle barely even acknowledges what's happening. That's not a pipe dream. That's not some million-dollar shooter's secret. It's the result of pure, brilliant engineering that puts the shooter back in control. We're talking about firearms that let you run drills until your ammo cans are empty, not until your joints are screaming for a ceasefire. Forget the idea that you need a second mortgage to buy a flat-shooting gun. Yeah, those exotic, custom-built race guns exist, those 9mm Ferraris that seem to run on $100 bills. But this list isn't about the one percenters. This is for the everyman shooter who wants to get better, faster, and shoot longer. I've gone on a mission to find the game changers across every category. We're looking at carry pistols, double-stack blasters, pistol caliber carbines, an incredibly clever 5.7, and even a shotgun that completely flips the script on what a 12 gauge is supposed to feel like. If you're ready to stop fighting your gun and start working with it, you've come to the right place. Coming in at number 5 is a pistol that completely shatters expectations. The Ruger Security 380 ACP. Look, this thing doesn't scream performance on paper, but get it in your hands, and the story changes. Ruger designed this gun from the ground up to be approachable. The magic is in their light rack system, which makes manipulating the slide an absolute breeze for anyone. Who's ever struggled with slide serrations or heavy recoil springs, that feature alone is a monumental win. It builds confidence right out of the box. This isn't just a gun for beginners. It's a smart tool for anyone who values shootability in a compact package. It's light, weighing in at under 20 ounces with a barrel just a hair over 3 inches. The footprint is perfect for concealed carry. And you're not sacrificing rounds for comfort either, with magazine options from 10 all the way up to 15 plus 1. The real revelation happens when you press the trigger. The recoil impulse isn't a crack, it's a gentle tap. Follow-up shots are instinctive because your sights barely leave the target. At a street price between $370 and $390, it's an incredible value for a daily carry that won't beat you up. Sure, the 380 ACP isn't a 9mm powerhouse, but with modern defensive ammunition, shot placement is king, and this pistol makes placing your shots fast and easy. Now, let's leave the world of practical value and step into the realm of functional art with number 4, the Nighthawk TRS Comp. This is what happens when a master gunsmith decides that recoil is a problem to be solved with absolute precision. We're talking about a one-gun, one-gunsmith build. That means a single artisan is responsible for every fitted part, every polished surface, from start to finish. You feel that dedication the second you pick it up. The slide moves on the frame like it's floating on ball bearings. This beast is built on a 2011 style double-stack 9mm frame. It masterfully combines a heavier steel slide and a full-length dust cover with a lightweight aluminum grip module. This pushes the center of gravity forward, right where you need it. Then they integrate a single-port compensator directly into the barrel and slide. That device vents gas upwards, actively forcing the muzzle down with every shot. The trigger breaks like a tiny rod of glass at about 3.5 pounds. The result? You pull the trigger, the gun barks, and the dot on your optic settles right back where it started, almost like it never left. With a capacity of around 20 rounds, it feels like you can shoot forever. The price will make you catch your breath. Figures start near $4,500, but when you run a magazine through one, you'll understand. It's a gun that makes you forget recoil was ever a thing. All right, so we've seen how precision engineering can make a handgun feel like a laser beam. But what happens when you take that same recoil-killing philosophy and apply it to a pistol caliber carbine? You enter a whole new dimension of speed and fun. Now, if your only experience with a 9mm carbine is a traditional straight blowback gun, get ready to have your mind blown. We're talking about the Grand Power Stribog SP9A3. This isn't just another PCC, it's a piece of Slovakian ingenuity that completely redefines the platform. It takes the sharp, snappy impulse you're used to and transforms it into a smooth, controlled push that will have you second guessing if you're even shooting a 9mm. The secret sauce is the roller delayed action. Forget the violent metal-on-metal slam of a simple blowback system. A roller delayed action works by momentarily slowing down the bolt's rearward travel, spreading the recoil impulse over a longer period. Think of it as the difference between getting hit with a hammer versus being shoved by a heavyweight boxer. Both have force, but one is sharp and punishing, while the other is a manageable wave of energy. That's what the Stribog does. It turns the entire firing cycle into a gentle, almost hydraulic motion. The result? The muzzle stays flat, your dot stays on target, and you can lay down incredibly fast and accurate strings of fire. Let's talk hardware. It's chambered in 9 by 19mm, sports an 8-inch barrel, and weighs just over 2 kilograms before you start adding accessories. You've got options for 10, 20, or 30-round magazines, giving you plenty of firepower between reloads. The full-length Picatinny rail up top means you have all the real estate you need for optics, magnifiers, and lasers. You can build this thing out for a fast and light competition rig or a serious home defense tool. But the real magic happens on the range. Ripping through a plate rack at 15 yards feels less like work and more like a video game cheat code. The carbine just doesn't move. It's also an incredible suppressor host, with that delayed action keeping gas blowback and port noise to a minimum. And here's the kicker. You can get into this level of performance for under $1,000. That's a massive win. Now, let's be real. The first generation of these guns had some teething issues. It's not uncommon for a revolutionary design to have some quirks to iron out, and the early Stribogs were no exception. But Grand Power listened to the feedback, went back to the drawing board, and the later generations are solid, reliable machines. A modern, sorted SP9A3 is an absolute joy to shoot and, for the money, one of the softest shooting PCCs on the market. From a carbine that punches way above its weight class, we pivot back to a handgun that seems to operate in its own universe. The Smith Wesson M&P 5.7 didn't just enter the market, it kicked the door down. This is a full-size pistol that makes felt recoil a complete non-issue. It starts with the cartridge itself. The 5.7 by 28mm round is already known for being flat shooting with a mild report, but Smith & Wesson took it a step further. The heart of this pistol is the tempo barrel system. It's a gas-operated locked breech design that keeps the action locked until the bullet has left the barrel and pressures have dropped. In simple terms, it means the gun absorbs a massive amount of the recoil energy before it ever gets to your hands. The firing impulse is so ridiculously light, it feels like shooting a souped-up .22. The ergonomics are classic M&P, so it feels instantly familiar and comfortable in the hand, with interchangeable backstraps to customize the fit. Plus, the standard magazine capacity is a staggering 22+1 rounds. You can run an entire stage of a competition on a single magazine. Most models even come with a factory-threaded barrel, making it suppressor-ready right out of the box. Yes, 5.7 ammo is pricier and harder to find than 9mm, and the debate about its terminal ballistics is never-ending. But if your number one goal is to find a centerfire pistol with the least amount of recoil possible, the M&P 5.7 is in a class of its own. Let's talk about the 12 gauge. For generations, it's been the undisputed king of close quarters horsepower. It's also been a notorious punisher, a gun that demands you pay a physical price for all that power. We've just accepted that as fact. But what if I told you that the brutal, punishing recoil of a 12 gauge is now optional? What if you could have all the terminal energy of buckshot and slugs with a recoil impulse closer to a 5.56 carbine? You'd probably call me a liar. And then I'd show you the Genesis 12, specifically the TI Gen 12 3-gun variant. This thing isn't just a shotgun, it's a paradigm shift. It's a fire-breathing monster that has been put on a leash, and it fundamentally changes what a shooter can do with a scattergun. The genius starts with the platform itself. It's built on an AR-style chassis. That means from the moment you shoulder it, your body already knows what to do. The pistol grip, the ambidextrous safety selector, the adjustable stock, it's all second nature to a modern rifle shooter. You're not learning a new system, you're just applying your existing skills to a much bigger caliber. The 3-gun model then takes recoil management to an almost absurd level. It's a 3-part system. An 18.5-inch barrel is ported. You have a mid-barrel compensator, and it's capped with a massive, aggressive muzzle brake. Together, these components work to vent gas in every direction except straight back into your shoulder, absolutely killing the push and virtually eliminating muzzle climb. The rest of the build is pure competition-grade hardware. The trigger is so crisp and light, it feels like it belongs on a precision rifle. The 13-inch M-LOK handguard gives you unlimited space for optics and accessories. And forget fumbling with tube magazines under pressure. The Genesis 12 feeds from detachable box mags with a flared magwell that vacuums them in for lightning-fast reloads. The standard mags hold 13 rounds. Think about that. 13 rounds of 12 gauge ready to go as fast as you can run that trigger. Shooting this thing feels wrong in the best way possible. You brace for that familiar violent 12 gauge shove and it just never comes. There's a push, sure, but it's a smooth, linear impulse that doesn't knock you off balance. You can dump a full magazine on a target array, and your sights will barely leave the steel. Your transitions between targets are faster. Your follow-up shots are instantaneous. Your shoulder doesn't ache. Your teeth don't rattle. It feels less like a shotgun and more like a heavy battle rifle. Now, I have a deep respect for the classics. The gas system on the Benelli M4 is legendary for a reason. The Beretta A300 Patrol offers incredible control for its price point, and guns like the Mossberg 930 and the Remington Versamax have proven that you can build reliable, softer-shooting semi-autos. But the Genesis 12 isn't in that conversation. It's having a different conversation entirely. It's not an evolution, it's a full-blown revolution in what a shotgun can be. Of course, that revolution comes at a price. You can expect a sticker price floating around $4,900. It's an elite piece of equipment for a shooter who needs every possible advantage. So what's the common thread here? From a tiny 380 ACP pistol to a 5-figure competition shotgun, what's the real story? It's about access. It's about breaking down the physical barriers that keep people from shooting or from shooting well. Recoil is no longer the gatekeeper. These firearms allow a shooter with less physical strength or someone with injuries to handle a powerful tool with confidence. They allow serious competitors to train harder and longer, pushing the boundaries of human performance. They turn recoil from the main event into mere background noise. But is the hardware the only answer? Turning any gun into an ally. We've just seen the cutting-edge hardware designed to cheat physics, but I ended with a question. Is the gear the only answer? The answer is a hard no. The gun is only half of the equation. The other half is you, the software that runs the hardware. You can take any one of the guns on this list and make it shoot even better, and you can take the gun you already own and dramatically reduce its felt recoil. This is where we separate the gear collectors from the true shooters. This is how you turn any firearm from a punishing tool into a true partner. First, let's talk about your foundation, your stance and grip. Recoil is energy, and energy needs a place to go. If your stance is weak and passive, you become a human shock absorber, and you will lose every time. I want you to get aggressive. Plant your feet shoulder-width apart. Put a slight bend in your knees and lean into the gun. Get your chest and shoulders square to the target. You are not catching the recoil. You are directing it straight into the ground through your skeletal structure. Your bones are the frame of the house. Your muscles are just the drywall. Let the frame do the work. A rock-solid grip that's high up on the backstrap completes the circuit. This isn't about a death grip. It's about a firm 360-degree pressure that makes the gun an extension of your body. Next up is trigger control. All the compensators and fancy actions in the world can't fix a sloppy trigger pull. A clean, smooth press straight to the rear minimizes any last-second muzzle movement that can exaggerate recoil and throw your shot, and it doesn't end when the shot breaks. Follow-through is everything. Keep your eyes on the sights, watch them lift and settle, and feel that trigger reset. Then, and only then, do you prep for the next shot. Start slow. Work on single, perfect shots. then move to controlled pairs. The guns we talked about today will reward that discipline tenfold, but this technique will make any gun you shoot feel more controllable. Your ammunition choice is critical. You wouldn't put cheap, dirty fuel in a performance engine, so don't feed your guns garbage ammo. Lightweight target loads will inherently have less recoil, which is great for training. But for a defensive gun like that, 380 ACP, you need to run quality hollow points that have been proven to perform. For the 5.7, you're already paying a premium, so buy good stuff. The point is consistency. Consistent ammo provides a consistent recoil impulse, which allows you to build a consistent rhythm. Now let's talk about gear again, but this time as a surgical upgrade. Muzzle devices and weight are your tools for fine-tuning. A compensator or a muzzle brake redirects gases to counteract muzzle rise and rearward push. Adding weight to the front of a gun, like with a weapon light or a heavier guide rod, acts as a counterweight to muzzle flip. But it's a balancing act. Too much weight up front can make the gun feel sluggish when transitioning between targets. The goal is to find the sweet spot that flattens the gun's recoil without killing its agility. On a 12 gauge, a good recoil pad and an effective brake can turn a bruiser into a pussycat. It's not magic. It's just applied physics. Finally, do not underestimate maintenance. A gun is a machine. A worn-out recoil spring will absolutely increase felt recoil and batter the frame. A dirty action or a faulty magazine can cause malfunctions that wreck your rhythm and your confidence. Read your owner's manual. Replace springs when they tell you to. Keep your firearm clean and properly lubricated. A reliable gun is a predictable gun, and a predictable gun is a soft-shooting gun. The real revolution here isn't just about a few high-tech firearms. It's about accessibility. It's about giving every shooter the tools, both in hardware and in knowledge, to control their firearm, to train longer, and to become more confident and competent. So, don't just go out and buy a new gun. Go out and become a better shooter. Pick one of these principles: stance, trigger, control, ammo, and dedicate your next 3 range trips to mastering it. Let the engineering in these modern firearms do its job, but never forget that you are the one who makes it all work.